This is not a good drawing, but it does need to be. It can sort of look like crap, which is nice, cause it does. La-di-da, blah-di-di, blah-di-di, blah-da-di-do, blah-da. See that? I get a good view of that. I would like to quote from Mango Mussolini himself. To ICE, Border Patrol, law enforcement, and all U.S. military, as per my August 25th, 2025 executive order, please be advised that from this point forward, anybody burning the American flag will be subject to 1 year in prison. You will be immediately arrested. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Bring it on, you fascist fuck! Now, let me start with the legal side of this, because in addition to being a power-happy piece of shit, Mango Mussolini is also a lying scumbag. It is not in any way, shape, or form illegal to burn the American flag. So am I worried they're going to arrest me? No, because it's still perfectly legal. This has gone to the courts. The court said, no, you can't outlaw that. And he didn't outlaw that with his stupid executive order. And he may be too stupid to know that about his own executive order, or he may know it, but being a blustering wannabe dictator dumbass, he's pretending you would be arrested immediately. Well, I just did it. Granted, my flag was sort of ugly and crappy, but hey, I burned the American flag. By the way, I didn't do that having anything to do with America, but having to do with mentality and beliefs and statism. I recently made a video called Making Enemies about how you can have a society where people get along fine, and unless and until somebody decides to attack or assault or rob or try to murder somebody else, peaceful coexistence isn't that difficult. Then along comes government, fabricates arbitrary rules, and then sends violent thugs after anybody who disobeys, and creates enemies, creates violence, creates conflict where there was no need for that. Well, this stupid thing, even though it isn't a law at all, the thing he's pretending he did is a perfect example of fabricating a conflict. It is against the law. You'll be immediately arrested. How long do I have to wait for this immediate arrest, you bastard? By the way, yes, if anybody did try to arrest me for burning my own piece of paper, I would kill them. But this video isn't even about this particular psycho or about the legality thereof, because who cares? The mentality required for anybody to cheer for, like, a law against flag burning, and I've seen a number of supposed conservatives do this. Legally, it's already settled. You can't. The Supreme Court said, nope, you can't. So there's no law, there's no anything that could actually make it illegal. But aside from that, anybody cheering for this, you are 100% an idiot slave. And it has nothing to do with, well, you should be patriotic. Break this down to just literally what it means. If I have some cheap used magic markers and I have a piece of paper, these are mine, this is mine. If I make a certain pattern on a piece of paper or cloth or whatever, and then burn my own piece of paper, there are some people out there who think I should be put in a cage for a year. Those people are fucking idiots and immoral psychopaths. This is, and it's so much, people are so bad at being objective. Some of you, it was pretty long ago, but some of you will remember years back that some cartoonist was threatened with murder for drawing, was it Muhammad? I think it was Muhammad, in his cartoons. And it made a big story. People are threatening with murder and blah, 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 just for making a cartoon? Yeah, that's bonkers. That's insane. That's all the way anti-freedom. That's authoritarian lunacy. And this is exactly the same thing. Well, it's not murdering people, it's just violently kidnapping them and putting them in a cage for a year, which a bunch of supposed conservatives are cheering for. This is a prime example that statism is a religion. It is the worship of government. How utterly bonkers would you have to be to try to make up a rule about this for any other symbol? Like, I'm going to draw the Pepsi Cola logo and then burn it. Like, on my own piece of paper, on my own property. Would anybody say, well, you should be locked up for a year? What if I have a picture of a person I don't like and burn that or rip that up or something? Should I be caged? No, it's my stuff. It's my thing. I get to destroy my stuff. Didn't attack anybody, didn't threaten anybody. The fact that this needs to be explained to anybody in the US, and especially people who pretend to be conservatives and pretend to give a crap about the Constitution, it's insane. What Trump is trying to do as a puppet of the machine, this isn't his idea, he didn't have ideas, he's an idiot. But as a puppet of the machine, his job is to try to bring back the religious level blind loyalty to the ruling class. And in some ways, he's succeeded. A whole bunch of people who should know better, who call themselves conservatives and absolutely are not, are now cheering for heck with the First Amendment and the Second and the Fourth and the Fifth and the Ninth and the 10th and posse comitatus and habeas corpus and due process. Heck with all that. We want Emperor Trump to save the day because we're gullible and stupid. But this particular thing gave sort of the ultimate example. Now, to their credit, a bunch of conservatives are like, dude, no, what are you talking about? You don't get to cage somebody for burning a flag, even if we don't like it, even if it offends somebody. But it demonstrates that to a lot of people, the American flag is a religious symbol. The notion that, oh, government's just an organization. It's how we, the people, by way of our representatives, choose how certain things are going to be managed. No, it's not at all in any way, shape, or form, because if it was that, the people in government would have the same rights the rest of us have. They wouldn't have the right to rob people and call it taxation. They wouldn't have the right to make up arbitrary, stupid rules, like a rule about flag burning, and then try to violently cage people for disobeying. That is people imagining superhuman rights to those in government because the belief in government is a purely religious belief. And this flag burning bullshit is the perfect example of it. Like, okay, I'm allowed to have this, and I'm allowed to have this, and I'm allowed to have pieces of paper, and I'm allowed to draw literally an infinite number of patterns and then burn my piece of paper with those patterns on it. But if you have that one sacred pattern of our Lord God, government, and you burn that and you show disrespect to our beloved political masters, then you should be caged. You are out of your fucking gourd if you think that. You are as anti-freedom as anyone could possibly be, and you are 100% indoctrinated into the religious worship of government. And, I mean, how many people are even saying, like, of all the people who claim to be Christian, if you support Trump, you're not a Christian. Don't even pretend you are. It's nothing close. You're basically worshiping the Antichrist, or about as close as you can get in a puppet of the machine. How many people are saying if you burn, like, a picture of the cross, you should be thrown in prison? Now, if you make a big cross and you put it in someone's yard and light it on fire as a threat and terror, yeah, that's a different thing, because that's somebody else's property. If you draw a picture of Jesus or the cross, or if you take a Bible and you burn it, lots of people can be really offended because that's obviously a direct, intentional insult to their religious beliefs. Okay, they can be offended. Is anybody calling for prison sentence for that? Or are they saying, well, that's really rude and obnoxious and we really don't like it, but at the end of the day, it's pieces of paper, and if you own it, you get to do what you want. And yet there are people in this country, which is looking and thinking more and more like North Korea by the day, in this country, who think that if I own a piece of cloth that has a particular pattern of colors on it, that I should be violently caged if I burn my own piece of cloth, not because of the cloth, but because of the pattern of colors on it. Literally, you're not allowed to arrange red, white, and blue in that particular pattern and then burn it, or you would be immediately arrested. If you're in favor of this, you are 100% a slave to a mythical deity known as government. And if you're a conservative cheering for this, that's fucking pathetic. And if you're a conservative seeing Mango Mussolini do this and not stand up and say, what the hell, dude? No, that's not okay. And to their credit, I've seen some conservatives say, I'm going to go burn a flag just to disobey you, not even as like disrespect to the nation, whatever the hell that means and all that goofy symbolism, but just I'm going to disobey you because no, the ruling class doesn't get to tell us to do that. So there are a bunch of conservatives who are at least doing that much. But the fact that anybody is talking as if this is okay or good or righteous, wow, just throwback to medieval feudal lord worship, king, divine right of kings bullshit. You can't say something bad about the king. You can't burn the coat of arms of the king. That's treasonous to show disrespect to your masters. Good grief. So I thought I'd quick do a stupid little video about this. But just point out the insanity. And when you describe it literally, how can anyone not notice the insanity? So anybody who supports a law against burning the flag, I want you to type these words in a comment below. I dare you to type these words in a comment below. If you, these are your words, ready? Quote, if you make a certain pattern of colors on your own property and then light that thing on fire, I think you should be forcibly kidnapped and put in a cage for a year. Say that. I want to see if anybody can actually literally express what they believe. Maybe there is someone that bonkers that will actually say that. I think if most of you don't even have the balls to literally describe what it is you're advocating, even if you're in favor of this bogus, well, non-existent law. It's not going to happen. It didn't happen. It's never going to. But the thing that Trump is in favor of and has pushed on several occasions going back years, describe the reality of that. I want you to actually tell me that if I make a certain pattern of colors on my own thing and then I burn my own thing, you think I should be caged for a year. And then see if you can look in the mirror and tell yourself, this isn't a religious belief. I pledge allegiance to the Republic. I will worship the Republic and do whatever my masters say and hate anybody who doesn't. Good grief, people. If you ever needed the most obvious example you could possibly have that is a ruling class that is demanding your religious belief and devotion, here it is. How dense are you? Guess we'll find out in the comments. Holy smokes.